The clock on the wall showed 3:47 a.m. when she walked through the automatic doors of Metro General Hospital. Dr. Lisa Martinez had been working the night shift for almost 10 years, and she thought she had seen everything. Broken bones, heart, attacks, car accidents. Nothing surprised her anymore. But this woman was different. The patient moved in a strange way, like she was floating instead of walking. Her steps were too smooth, too perfect. She wore a simple black dress that looked expensive, but there was something odd about the fabric. It seemed to shimmer under the fluorescent lights, almost like it was alive. "Good morning," the woman said when she reached the front desk. Her voice was soft but clear, with an accent that Lisa couldn't place. It wasn't British or French or anything she recognized. "I need to see a doctor about pain in my head." The nurse at the desk, Betty, looked up from her computer. She had been working at the hospital even longer than Lisa and was used to dealing with all kinds of people. But even Betty seemed puzzled by this woman. "What's your name, honey?" Betty asked, her fingers ready to type. "You can call me Zara," the woman replied. She didn't offer a last name, and when Betty asked for identification, Zara handed over a driver's license that looked real enough. But something about it felt wrong, like looking at a perfect painting that was just slightly off. Lisa watched from across the waiting room as Betty filled out the paperwork. Zara sat perfectly still in the plastic chair, her hands folded in her lap. Most people in the emergency room at this hour were either in serious pain or completely exhausted. They fidgeted, they complained, they fell asleep in uncomfortable positions. But Zara just sat there, looking around the room with curious eyes. When Lisa finally called her name, Zara stood up in one fluid motion. No groaning, no stretching, no hesitation. She followed Lisa down the hallway to examination room 3, her footsteps making no sound on the tile floor. "So, tell me about this headache," Lisa said, closing the door behind them. She had learned to start with simple questions and work her way up to the complicated stuff. Zara sat on the examination table without being asked. "It's not exactly a headache," she said, touching her temples with her fingertips. "It's more like throbbing, constant throbbing that won't stop. It's been going on for 3 weeks now." Lisa pulled out her notepad. "Is it worse at certain times of the day? Does anything make it better or worse?" "It gets stronger when there are more people around," Zara said. "And it's always strongest here, in places like this." She gestured around the room. "You mean hospitals? Places where people are thinking very hard about things that worry them." Lisa paused in her note-taking. That was an unusual way to describe it. Most patients talked about noise levels or stress, but Zara made it sound like she could somehow sense other people's thoughts. "Let me check your blood pressure," Lisa said, reaching for the cuff. As she wrapped it around Zara's arm, she noticed that the woman's skin felt unusually cool. Not cold exactly, but cooler than normal body temperature. The blood pressure reading came back normal, but Lisa noticed something strange. Usually, the machine made a soft beeping sound as it worked, but with Zara, the beeps seemed to skip and stutter, like the machine was having trouble getting a clear reading. "Have you had any medical problems before?" Lisa asked. "Any surgeries, allergies, medications?" Zara was quiet for a moment, like she was trying to figure out how to answer. "I've never needed medical care before," she finally said. "This is new for me." "What about family history? Do your parents or siblings have any health issues?" Another pause. "My family doesn't get sick the way yours do. The way yours do." Lisa found that phrasing odd, but she continued with the examination. When she looked into Zara's eyes with a small flashlight, she had to blink and look again. For just a moment, it seemed like Zara's pupils reflected the light back like a cat's eyes, but when Lisa looked again, they appeared normal. "I'm going to listen to your heart and lungs now," Lisa said, pulling out her stethoscope. When she placed it on Zara's back, she heard something that made her frown. The heartbeat was there, but it sounded different. Instead of the usual lub-dub rhythm, it was more like lub-dub-dub, with an extra beat that shouldn't exist. "Take a deep breath for me," Lisa said, moving the stethoscope to different positions. The lung sounds were clear, but again, something felt off. The breathing pattern was too regular, too controlled. As Lisa continued the examination, she noticed other small things that didn't make sense. Zara's hair looked normal from a distance, but up close, each strand seemed to have a slight metallic sheen. Her fingernails were perfectly shaped and had a hardness that felt more like plastic than keratin. "I'd like to run some tests," Lisa said finally. "Blood work, maybe a CT scan of your head, just to make sure we're not missing anything." And that's when Zara smiled. It wasn't a normal smile. It started at the corners of her mouth and spread, slowly across her face, but it never reached her eyes. Those remained watchful, almost calculating. The smile seemed to contain knowledge that Lisa didn't have, secrets that Lisa couldn't understand. "That would be very helpful," Zara said, and her voice had a quality that made Lisa's skin feel cold. "I'm very interested to see what your tests will show." Most patients were nervous about medical tests. They asked questions about pain, about cost, about what the results might mean. But Zara seemed almost excited, like she was looking forward to seeing how human medicine would react to whatever she was. Lisa left the room to order the tests, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something important. She had been a doctor long enough to trust her instincts, and right now every instinct she had was telling her that Zara was not what she appeared to be. In the hallway, she ran into Tom, one of the other night shift doctors. "Got an interesting case?" he asked, noticing the puzzled expression on her face. "Maybe," Lisa said. "Have you ever had a patient who made you feel like they were studying you instead of the other way around?" Tom laughed. "Sounds like you need some coffee. It's been a long night." But as Lisa walked back toward the examination room, she saw Zara through the small window in the door. The woman was sitting perfectly still again, but her head was tilted, slightly to one side, like she was listening to something that no one else could hear, and she was still smiling that strange, knowing smile. Lisa realized that this was going to be more than just another routine night shift case. Something told her that meeting Zara was going to change everything she thought she knew about medicine, about people, and about what was possible in the world. She just didn't know how much. 3 days later, Dr. Lisa Martinez sat in her office staring at test results that made no sense. She had read them 5 times, checked the patient ID numbers twice, and even called the lab to make sure they hadn't mixed up the samples. But every time she looked at Zara's results, they showed the same impossible things. The blood work was the first sign that something was very wrong. Normal human blood contains red cells, white cells, platelets, and plasma. Zara's blood had all of these, but it also had something else. Under the microscope, there were tiny structures that looked almost like computer chips, too small to see with the naked eye but clearly visible when magnified. Dr. Rodriguez from the lab had called her personally about it. "Lisa, I've been doing this job for 15 years, he said over the phone. "I've never seen anything like this. These cells are functioning normally, but they have these weird geometric patterns inside them. It's like someone designed them." The brain scan was even stranger. Lisa had ordered a CT scan first, which showed the basic structure of Zara's brain. It looked human enough from a distance, but when she zoomed in on the computer screen, she could see that the neural pathways were different. Instead of the random organic branching patterns that normal brains showed, Zara's brain had perfectly symmetrical networks that formed complex geometric shapes. "This can't be right," Lisa muttered to herself, clicking through the images. She had studied thousands of brain scans during her training, and none of them looked anything like this. The patterns were too perfect, too organized. They looked more like the inside of a computer than a biological brain. She decided to order an MRI for more detailed images. When those results came back the next day, Lisa felt her hands shake as she opened the file. The MRI showed even more impossible details. Zara's brain tissue glowed differently under the magnetic field, almost like it contained tiny metal particles. But when Lisa looked at the chemical analysis, there was no metal present. The strangest part was in the temporal lobe area, where human brains process sound and language. Zara's brain had extra structures there, complex networks that didn't exist in any medical textbook. It was as if her brain had been designed to process information that normal human brains couldn't handle. Lisa tried to focus on her other patients, but she couldn't stop thinking about Zara. During her lunch break, she went to the hospital library and started researching. She looked up rare genetic conditions, unusual birth defects, anything that might explain what she was seeing. But nothing came close to matching Zara's test results. That afternoon, she got a call from the genetics lab. Dr. Patricia Kim, the head geneticist, sounded confused and excited at the same time. "Lisa, you need to come down here and see this," Patricia said. "I've been running DNA analysis on your patient's blood sample, and I'm getting results that don't match anything in our database." Lisa took the elevator down to the genetics lab, her heart beating faster with each floor. Patricia met her at the door, holding a printout covered in colorful charts and graphs. "Look at this," Patricia said, spreading the papers on her desk. "Normal human DNA has 4 base pairs, A, T, G, and C. Your patient has those, plus 2 others that I've never seen before. And the sequence patterns, they're too organized. Natural DNA has random variations, mutations, imperfections. This DNA looks like it was programmed." Lisa stared at the charts, trying to understand what she was seeing. "What does that mean? Is she some kind of genetic experiment?" Patricia shook her head. "I don't know what it means, but I ran the test 3 times with fresh samples, and I keep getting the same results. Either your patient is the most advanced genetic engineering project in human history, or what?" Patricia was quiet for a moment. "Or she's not human." That evening, Lisa couldn't concentrate on anything. She kept thinking about Zara sitting in the examination room with that strange smile, like she knew exactly what the tests would show, like she was waiting for Lisa to figure it out. The next morning, Lisa decided to check on the other staff members who had interacted with Zara. She started with Betty, the nurse who had registered her. "Oh, that woman," Betty said, looking up from her paperwork. "There was something odd about her. After she left, my computer started acting up. The screen kept flickering, and I had to restart it twice." Lisa talked to the lab technicians who had drawn Zara's blood. Mike, who had been doing blood draws for 10 years, told her something that made her skin crawl. "When I put the needle in her arm, she didn't flinch at all," Mike said. "Most people at least tense up a little, but she just sat there watching me like it was the most interesting thing in the world. And her blood, it was warmer than normal. Not hot, just warmer than human body temperature should be." The radiology technician who had done the brain scans had similar stories. "The machine kept making weird noises when she was in there," Janet said, "like it was working harder than usual. And she asked me so many questions about how the equipment worked. Most patients just want to get it over with, but she seemed fascinated by the technology." Lisa started keeping a notebook, writing down every strange detail she could remember or discover. Zara's too perfect posture, the way electronic equipment seemed to malfunction around her, her unusual questions about human medical procedures, the fact that she never seemed tired or uncomfortable, even after hours in the hospital. But the most disturbing thing was how other people reacted to being around Zara for extended periods. 2 nurses reported feeling dizzy after spending time in her room. The janitor who cleaned her area said he had strange dreams that night, dreams filled with colors and sounds he couldn't describe. Lisa realized that she was documenting something that could ruin her career if she was wrong. Medical professionals were supposed to deal in facts, not impossible theories about non-human patients. But the evidence was piling up and she couldn't ignore it anymore. She made copies of all the test results and locked them in her home safe. If Zara really was what Lisa was beginning to suspect, these documents might be the most important medical records in human history. The question was, what was she supposed to do with this information? And more importantly, what did Zara want from her? That night, Lisa lay in bed staring at the ceiling, knowing that her life had changed forever. She was no longer just a doctor treating unusual symptoms. She was possibly the first human being to document proof of non-human intelligence seeking medical help. And somehow, she had the feeling that Zara knew exactly what Lisa was thinking. 5 days had passed since Zara first walked into the hospital, and Dr. Lisa Martinez was running out of medical explanations. She had consulted with specialists, searched through research databases, and even reached out to colleagues at other hospitals. Nobody had ever seen anything like Zara's test results. Lisa scheduled another appointment with Zara, this time in her private office instead of an examination room. She needed answers, and she had a feeling that Zara was the only one who could provide them. When Zara arrived at exactly 2 p.m., she moved with the same fluid grace that had caught Lisa's attention from the beginning. She wore a different outfit today, a simple blue sweater and dark pants, but there was still something about the fabric that seemed to shimmer slightly under the office lights. "Please sit down," Lisa said, gesturing to the chair across from her desk. She had prepared for this conversation, but now that Zara was here, she wasn't sure how to begin. Zara settled into the chair and looked at Lisa with those unnaturally bright eyes. "You have questions about my test results," she said. It wasn't a question. It was a statement, like she already knew what Lisa was thinking. "Yes, I do," Lisa replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "The results don't match anything in medical literature. Your blood contains structures that shouldn't exist. Your brain scans show patterns that aren't found in any human being. And your DNA—" She paused, looking at the papers on her desk. "Your DNA has components that we've never seen before." Zara nodded slowly, like she had been expecting this conversation. "What do you think that means, Dr. Martinez?" Lisa felt her heart racing. This was the moment when she would either sound like a crazy person or discover something that would change everything. "I think," she said carefully, "that you're not entirely human." For a long moment, Zara just looked at her. Then slowly, she smiled. But this time it was different. This smile was warm and genuine, not the mysterious expression Lisa had seen before. "You're very observant," Zara said, "and very brave to say that out loud." Lisa felt like the room was spinning. "So it's true? You're not human?" "Not in the way. You understand it?" "No," Zara replied. "I belong to a species that your people don't know about yet. We've been watching Earth for many decades, studying your civilization from a distance." Lisa grabbed the edge of her desk to steady herself. This was really happening. She was sitting in her office having a conversation with an alien being. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you've been trying so hard to help me," Zara said, "and because I need your help to solve my problem. The throbbing in my head isn't what you would call pain. It's something else entirely." "What is it then?" Zara was quiet for a moment, like she was trying to find the right words. "My people have abilities that yours don't possess. We can sense the thoughts and emotions of other living beings. It's how we communicate with each other, and it's as natural to us as speaking is to you." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "You can read minds?" "In a way, yes. But here's the problem. Human minds are much louder than the minds of my people. Your thoughts are intense, emotional, and constant. Being around large groups of humans is like standing next to a waterfall of noise that never stops." "That's why it gets worse in crowded places," Lisa said, beginning to understand. "Exactly. And hospitals are the worst places for me because people Here are experiencing such strong emotions. Fear, pain, worry, grief, all of these feelings crash into my consciousness at once. It's overwhelming. Lisa thought about all the times she had seen Zara in the hospital. The waiting room full of anxious patients and worried families. The emergency department where people came during the worst moments of their lives. No wonder Zara had seemed so uncomfortable. My people usually live in remote areas of your planet, Zara continued. Places where there are very few humans, so the mental noise is manageable. But I was assigned to study human medical practices, which means I have to spend time in places like this hospital. Assigned by who? My government, you might say. We're preparing for the day when our species will make contact with yours officially. They want to understand how humans treat illness and injury, how your medical technology works, what your doctors are capable of. Lisa felt like she needed to sit down, even though she was already sitting. There are others like you? Many others. We've been living quietly on Earth for generations, learning about your people, your cultures, your sciences. Most humans never notice us because we're very good at blending in, but not good enough to fool a medical examination. Zara laughed, and the sound was surprisingly musical. No, your medical technology is more advanced than we expected. We didn't anticipate that a routine blood test would reveal so much about our biology. Lisa looked at all the test results spread across her desk. Is this dangerous? For you, I mean. Having your secret discovered? That depends on what you plan to do with the information, Zara said, her expression becoming more serious. My people have protocols for situations like this. If humans discover our presence before we're ready for official contact, we have ways of handling it. What kind of ways? Lisa asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted to know the answer. Nothing. Harmful, Zara said quickly, noticing Lisa's worried expression. We can erase specific memories if necessary, but I don't think that will be needed in your case. Why not? Because you're a healer, Zara said simply. Your entire life is dedicated to helping others, regardless of who or what they are. I believe you'll help me find a solution to my problem rather than expose me to your authorities. Lisa realized that Zara was right. Despite the shock of learning the truth, her first instinct was still to help her patient. What kind of solution are you looking for? I need a way to block or reduce the mental noise I'm receiving from human minds. Something that will allow me to function normally in populated areas without being overwhelmed by other people's thoughts and emotions. That's not something human medicine knows how to treat, Lisa said. We don't even believe that. Telepathy exists. But you understand the human brain better than my people do, Zara replied. And you have technology that we find very interesting. Perhaps together we can find a solution that neither of our species could discover alone. Lisa felt a mixture of fear and excitement. This was the opportunity of a lifetime, to work with an alien being, to learn about technologies and abilities that humans had only dreamed of. But it was also terrifying. She would be risking her career, her reputation, maybe even her safety. If I help you, Lisa said slowly, what happens afterward? I complete my mission and return to my people with valuable information about human medical practices. You continue your work as a doctor, but with knowledge that will make you better at helping your patients. And someday, when our species officially meet, you'll already understand that we're not so different from each other. Lisa looked at Zara's genuine expression and made her decision. Okay, she said. Let's figure out how to fix your problem. Zara's smile returned, brighter than before. Thank you, Dr. Martinez. I think this is going to be the beginning of something very important. As Lisa began to plan their next steps, she couldn't help but wonder how many other impossible things were happening in the world that people just didn't know about yet. Over the next 2 weeks, Dr. Lisa Martinez's life became something out of a science fiction movie. Every evening after her regular hospital shifts, She would meet with Zara in her private office to work on solving the most unusual medical case in human history. The first challenge was understanding exactly how Zara's telepathic abilities worked. Unlike the mind-reading powers shown in movies, Zara explained that her species didn't hear actual words or see specific thoughts. Instead, they experienced what she called emotional frequencies, waves of feeling and intention that carried meaning. Imagine standing in a room where everyone is playing different music at the same time, Zara said during one of their sessions. Each person's emotions create their own melody, and normally I can tune into individual songs or ignore them completely. But human emotions are so much stronger and more chaotic than my people's. It's like every human is playing their music at maximum volume. Lisa took notes as Zara spoke, filling notebook after notebook with information that would revolutionize human understanding of consciousness and communication. But her immediate goal was more practical, finding a way to help Zara function normally around people. What if we could create some kind of barrier, Lisa suggested. Something that blocks or reduces the intensity of these emotional frequencies. Zara's eyes lit up with interest. That's exactly what I was hoping you might say. My people have tried various methods, but we don't understand human brain chemistry well enough to create an effective solution. Lisa started researching everything. She could find about brain waves, electromagnetic fields, and neural activity. She spent hours in the medical library reading studies about how different frequencies affected brain function. Most of the research focused on helping humans with neurological disorders, but Lisa began to see how the same principles might work in reverse. The breakthrough came when Lisa remembered a piece of equipment in the hospital's neurology department. The transcranial magnetic stimulation machine, or TMS, used magnetic fields to stimulate specific areas of the brain. It was typically used to treat depression and other mental health conditions, but Lisa wondered if it could be modified to create a protective field around Zara's telepathic abilities. I have an idea, Lisa told Zara during their next meeting. But I'll need to bring you to the hospital after hours to test it. Are you willing to try? Zara nodded without hesitation. I trust you completely. That Saturday night, Lisa used her access card to enter the hospital's neurology wing. She had told the security guard that she needed to review some patient files, which was technically true. Zara met her in the parking garage, and together they made their way to the TMS laboratory. Ta-ta. Machine looked like a large chair surrounded by complex electronic equipment. Lisa had used it many times to treat patients, but never for anything like this. Sit here, Lisa said, helping Zara into the chair. I'm going to start with very low power settings, just to see how your brain responds to the magnetic fields. As Lisa powered up the machine, she felt her hands shaking slightly. She was about to perform the first interspecies medical procedure in human history, using equipment that wasn't designed for this purpose on a patient whose biology she was still learning about. Are you ready? Lisa asked. Yes, Zara replied. But Lisa, before you start, I want you to know something. If this works, it will change both of our lives forever. Are you prepared for that? Lisa paused with her hand on the control panel. She thought about her quiet life, her routine job, her normal problems. Then she looked at Zara, who had trusted her with the biggest secret in human history. I'm ready, Lisa said. She activated the machine at its lowest setting. The magnetic field generator hummed softly as it created a controlled electromagnetic field around Zara's head. Lisa watched the monitors carefully, looking for any signs of distress or unusual brain activity. How do you feel? Lisa asked. Zara was quiet for a moment, her eyes closed in concentration. It's quieter, she said, sounding surprised. I can still sense the emotions from people in other parts of the hospital, but they're muffled, like they're coming from much farther away. Lisa felt a surge of excitement. That's exactly what we want. Let me adjust the frequency slightly. Over. The next hour, Lisa carefully modified the machine's settings, guided by Zara's feedback about how each change affected her telepathic reception. It was like tuning a radio to find the clearest station, except they were tuning an alien mind, too. Filter out human emotional noise. Finally, Zara opened her eyes with an expression of pure relief. Lisa, it's working. For the first time since I came to this city, my mind feels peaceful. But Lisa knew that the hospital's TMS machine couldn't be a permanent solution. Zara couldn't come to the neurology lab every time she needed relief from telepathic overload. We need to create a portable version, Lisa said. Something you can use whenever you need it. This led to the most challenging part of their collaboration. Lisa had to learn about technologies that human science was decades away from developing, while Zara had to understand human engineering principles well enough to help modify existing equipment. Working together in Lisa's garage at home, they began building what would become Earth's first telepathic signal dampener. Zara provided knowledge about frequency patterns and neural field manipulation, while Lisa contributed her understanding of human medical technology and electronics. The device they created looked like a small hearing aid, but instead of amplifying sound, it generated a precise electromagnetic field that surrounded the wearer's brain. The field didn't block Zara's telepathic abilities completely. She could still use them when she chose to, but it prevented the overwhelming flood of human emotions from crashing into her consciousness. "Try it now," Lisa said, handing Zara the tiny device. Zara placed it in her ear and immediately smiled. "It's perfect. I can hear my own thoughts clearly for the first time in weeks." But the collaboration had changed Lisa as much as it had helped Zara. Working with alien technology and learning about telepathic abilities had opened her mind to possibilities she had never imagined. She began to see her human patients differently, paying more attention to their emotional states and how those feelings might affect their physical health. "You've given me more than just a solution to my problem," Zara told Lisa as they finished testing the device. "You've shown me that humans are capable of accepting and helping beings who are very different from themselves. That information will be invaluable when my people decide it's time for official contact." Lisa realized that she had become more than just a doctor treating an unusual patient. She had become humanity's first ambassador to an alien species, proving that cooperation between their peoples was not only possible but beneficial for both sides. "What happens now?" Lisa asked. "Now I can complete my mission without suffering," Zara replied, "and you continue being the extraordinary doctor you've always been, just with a little more knowledge about what's possible in this universe." As Lisa watched Zara test the device in different settings, she couldn't help but smile. She had entered this experience as a skeptical physician faced with impossible test results. She was leaving it as someone who had helped bridge the gap between two species and participated in creating technology that neither humans nor aliens could have developed alone. The collaboration had proven that the greatest medical breakthroughs came not from competition, but from cooperation and the willingness to help others, regardless of where they came from. Over the next 2 weeks, Dr. Lisa Martinez's life became something out of a science fiction movie. Every evening after her regular hospital shifts, she would meet with Zara in her private office to work on solving the most unusual medical case in human history. The first challenge was understanding exactly how Zara's telepathic abilities worked. Unlike the mind-reading powers shown in movies, Zara explained that her species didn't hear actual words or see specific thoughts. Instead, they experienced what she called emotional frequencies, waves of feeling and intention that carried meaning. "Imagine standing in a room where everyone is playing different music at the same time," Zara said during one of their sessions. "Each person's emotions create their own melody, and normally I can tune into individual songs or ignore them completely. But human emotions are so much stronger and more chaotic than my people's. It's like every human is playing their music at maximum volume." Lisa took notes as Zara spoke, filling notebook after notebook with information that would revolutionize human understanding of consciousness and communication. But her immediate goal was more practical, finding a way to help Zara function normally around people. What if we could create some kind of barrier, Lisa suggested. Something that blocks or reduces the intensity of these emotional frequencies. Zara's eyes lit up with interest. That's exactly what I was hoping you might say. My people have tried various methods, but we don't understand human brain chemistry well enough to create an effective solution. Lisa started researching everything. She could find about brain waves, electromagnetic fields, and neural activity. She spent hours in the medical library, reading studies about how different frequencies affected brain function. Most of the research focused on helping humans with neurological disorders, but Lisa began to see how 6 weeks after Zara first walked into Metro General Hospital, Dr. Lisa Martinez sat in her office reviewing what had been the most extraordinary period of her life. The small telepathic dampener they had created together was working perfectly, allowing Zara to function normally in crowded areas without being overwhelmed by human emotions. But their collaboration had produced more than just a solution to Zara's problem. Working together had given both of them insights that would last a lifetime. For Lisa, the experience had completely changed how she practiced medicine. She now paid attention to details she had previously overlooked. The way patients' emotional states affected their physical symptoms, the importance of really listening to what people were trying to communicate, and the healing power of genuine compassion. I have something for you, Zara said during what they both knew would be their final meeting. She handed Lisa a small device that looked like a modified stethoscope. This will help you detect health problems in your patients before they become serious. It reads bioelectric patterns that human medical equipment can't usually measure. Lisa held the device carefully, understanding that she was receiving technology that was probably centuries ahead of human development. Won't your people miss this? I have permission to leave it with you, Zara replied. Consider it a gift from my species to yours. Use it wisely, and it will help you save many lives. Over the past weeks, Lisa had learned that Zara's mission involved much more than just studying human medical practices. She had been observing how humans dealt with crisis situations, how they showed compassion for strangers, and how willing they were to help others even when it required personal sacrifice. Your species gives me hope, Zara had told her during one of their late-night conversations. Despite all the conflicts and problems on your planet, there are humans like you who are willing to risk everything to help someone in need. That tells me that official contact between our peoples might be possible sooner than we originally thought. Now, as they prepared to say goodbye, Lisa felt a mixture of sadness and excitement. She would miss working with Zara, but she was also eager to use what she had learned to help her human patients. Will I ever see you again? Lisa asked. Probably not, Zara said honestly. I'll be returning to my people's settlements in remote areas of your planet, but the work we've done together will continue to have effects long after I'm gone. Zara was right about that. Over the following months, Lisa's medical practice changed in ways that her colleagues found remarkable. She seemed to have developed an almost supernatural ability to diagnose problems that other doctors missed. Patients who had been suffering from mysterious symptoms for years suddenly found relief under her care. The advanced stethoscope Zara had given her could detect irregularities in brain activity, heart function, and even early-stage cancers long before they appeared on conventional tests. But Lisa was careful to use it discreetly, always backing up her findings with standard medical procedures so that other doctors wouldn't become suspicious. She also found herself better at understanding what patients were really trying to tell her. Having learned to communicate with someone whose thoughts worked completely differently from humans, Lisa had developed skills in reading nonverbal cues and emotional subtext that made her a much more effective healer. Dr. Rodriguez from the lab noticed the change. Lisa, what happened to you? Your diagnostic accuracy has improved dramatically in the past few months. Are you taking some kind of advanced training? Just paying more attention to details, Lisa replied, which was true enough. But the most significant change was in how Lisa viewed the world around her. Knowing that Earth was home to multiple intelligent species, that advanced civilizations were quietly observing human development, and that contact between different worlds was not just possible but inevitable, had given her a broader perspective on life. She began to see her work at the hospital as part of something much larger than treating individual patients. Every person she helped, every life she saved, every act of compassion she performed was contributing to humanity's readiness for the day when they would take their place in a larger community of intelligent beings. Sometimes late at night, during quiet moments in the emergency room, Lisa would look around at the organized chaos of human medical care and imagine what it might be like when humans and aliens work together openly. The combination of human determination and alien technology could probably eliminate most diseases and extend healthy life far beyond what was currently possible. The thought both thrilled and intimidated her. Would humanity be ready for such changes? Would they accept help from beings who were different from themselves, or would fear and prejudice get in the way? Lisa's experience with Zara had proven that cooperation was possible, but she was just one person. How would the rest of humanity react when they learned they weren't alone in the universe? 3 months after Zara's departure, Lisa received an unusual patient, a young man with symptoms that reminded her strongly of what Zara had experienced. The constant headaches, the sensitivity to crowded places, the way electronic equipment seemed to malfunction around him. Lisa's heart raced as she examined him. Could there be another alien living among humans, someone who needed the same kind of help she had provided to Zara? But when she ran the same tests that had revealed Zara's true nature, the results came back completely normal. This patient was entirely human. He was just suffering from a rare neurological condition that happened to mimic some of Zara's symptoms. As Lisa treated the young man with conventional medicine, she realized something important. Her experience with Zara had made her a better doctor for all her patients, human and otherwise. The skills she had developed, the technology she had been given, and the broader perspective she had gained were gifts that would benefit everyone she treated for the rest of her career. Years passed, and Lisa never encountered another alien patient. But she never stopped watching for signs, never stopped hoping that she might someday be able to help bridge the gap between species again. She kept Zara's advanced stethoscope in a secure location, using it carefully to save lives that might otherwise have been lost. She estimated that the alien technology had helped her detect and treat over 100 serious conditions that would have gone unnoticed with conventional equipment. More importantly, she had become a better human being. The knowledge that there were other intelligent species in the universe, watching and waiting and hoping that humans would prove themselves worthy of contact, motivated her to be the best version of herself every day. She treated every patient with the same care and respect she had shown Zara, understanding that each person she encountered might be carrying their own secrets, their own struggles that weren't immediately visible. And sometimes, when she looked up at the night sky, Lisa would smile and wonder if Zara was out there somewhere, continuing her mission, and perhaps telling other members of her species about the human doctor who had been willing to risk everything to help a stranger in need. The experience had taught Lisa that the universe was full of possibilities she had never imagined, and that the greatest discoveries came not from competition or conquest, but from compassion, cooperation, and the simple willingness to help others, no matter how different they might be. In the end, that was the most important lesson of all, that healing transcended species, that kindness was a universal language, and that the future belonged to those brave enough to reach across the unknown to offer help to whoever needed it.